Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. Today we're out along my west fence and we're going to be planting some delphiniums. Now I grew these delphiniums from seed. This is the Pacific Giants mix and they're from Mackenzie Seed. They grew very easily from seed for me. I had a few people wondering if they were going to germinate for me. They'd heard that delphiniums needed a cold treatment in order to grow, and I can confidently say that they do not. I had very good germination and I have some nice healthy plants here. They definitely need to get in the ground. They've been in these little trays. I think I planted these around the end of February, so they need to get moved and planted up. And I'm going to be putting them at the back of this flower bed here. I've been wanting something with some height back here to just kind of fill in the fence area. So I thought these grow 4 to 6 feet high, and I'm thinking that they might be just the plant I need for that while I'm waiting for some shrubs and trees to grow up a little bit here. So these delphiniums bloom usually in the early spring, so I've probably missed my blooms this year, but they can bloom sporadically throughout the rest of the season. I've never grown delphiniums it's been years, so I don't really remember how well they did for me in that way, but they do prefer a slightly more acidic soil, so I may need, some areas of my garden are a little bit alkali, and I'm not sure about this part. I don't think I've had to do a lot of acidifier back here, so I'm thinking they should be okay. If not, I'll just hit them with a bit of an acidifier. And when I plant them, I'm just going to put in kind of a general purpose fertilizer just to help get them off to a good start. And yeah, I'm just going to pop them back here. I do have some liatris. I've planted a little bit of amaranth back here while I was deciding where these were going to go. I was originally thinking they were going to go in kind of more behind me here. I think this area is just a little bit too shady. Delphiniums can handle sun to part shade, but they would prefer a little bit more sun. But they do like protection from the hot afternoon sun. And this area gets the morning sun because it's the west fence. So the sun comes up over here, hits here, and then there's an ash tree kind of behind you and in front of me a little bit, and a cherry tree. Don't think you can see it, but a cherry tree. So they'll get some protection from that hot afternoon sun. So I think this will be a really good spot right in here. So yeah, I'm just gonna go climb in back here behind these plants and we'll get these planted. I have six delphiniums here, and I need to get them in the ground, and I'm excited to see how they do for me. They're perennial from zones 2 to 9, I believe. Yeah, 2 to 9, a plant that a lot of people can grow. Here's just a bit closer view of the planting space here. So there is a hydrangea right here. I can't remember which one that is. And then there's a yew right there. It kind of has brown tips on it right now, so it kind of stands out a bit. That is a Hicks yew, so it is supposed to get tall, but I don't think my Hicks yews are ever going to get tall here. And then I have some false turtle's head, I think that's what that's called there. It gets beautiful pink blooms late in the season. There's some echinacea in kind of back into the side of that, some phlox. So lots of taller plants here, but the delphinium in back there will be the tallest. I do have a little bit of foxglove that I popped in there now. I don't think it's going to do much back in there, but I don't know how fast the delphinium will grow. And like I said, I have some amaranth. You can probably just see an amaranth right there. And there's some liatris. And there should be, though I'm not seeing it, a little bit of white echinacea in here somewhere too. So there's a lot back here, but I think the delphinium with its tall, spiky kind of plants, as long as I get them spread out in here, will be good. They can need a little bit of staking, so I should maybe grab some stakes to put in by the plant, so I'm thinking of it. So amaranth wants to be spaced about 24 inches apart. They do fill out, so we'll try. Oh, I only grabbed 4 stakes, so that wasn't very smart. I guess we'll start with 4, but I think I'll kind of try and mark. I don't want to get too close to that hanging basket, so we'll put one here. Some weeds back here. Maybe put one. Yeah, I'm just jamming them in here. Not as much room back here as I thought once I got back here. Maybe pop one back over by me here. I'll try and put one up in front of me. Pop one right about where they're sitting right now. And we might wind up with one right behind the U. I don't know, that might be too close to the U. We'll see how this goes. I might not have planned this very well. We might not use all 6 here. I might have to give some away. Maybe I'll just do the 4 for now, and then we'll figure out where the rest go later. Maybe I'll put some over on the other side. They do make a nice cut flower. Maybe I'll try a few over along my east fence somewhere and see what they do over there as well. I'll think about it while I plant these. I have a little bit of mulch here. I do need to top up my mulch back here. I just use the wood mulch. Let's see. These look like they've been in these trays for so long. Yeah, they're all hooked together. I should have potted them back up. Pretty root bound, so I'm just going to give them a little rub to kind of loosen up the roots a little bit and pop it down in the ground. So there's this amaranth here, but it's an annual plant, so I'm not too worried about having it where the delphinium is. The delphinium will probably crowd it out, and the delphiniums are probably just going to sit for this season anyways and just kind of get their roots established. Perennials tend to just kind of, they say, sleep, creep, leap. So the first year, they just kind of seem like they're not doing anything as they just get their roots established in the ground. And then the second year, you'll see them put on a bit more growth. And then the third year is when most annuals really perform. So I think that'll be all right for this year with the amaranth back here. Like I said, it won't come back next year, and it might just provide that little bit of height this year that the delphinium might not give me. I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't grown delphinium a lot, so I'm not super familiar with it. But so I've got 2 in the ground. I think you can just see this one here, but there's another one over there. A foxglove, and the amaranth, another foxglove. And the foxgloves are also just annual in my area here. So I'm gonna move back here where I'm standing and plant a couple more. So again, there's amaranth right by this one here. I don't know if you can see through this liatris here. I think this liatris will be nice to provide a next level down from the delphinium when the delphinium gets growing. But again, this year, I suspect they won't put on a lot of growth. They'll just kind of settle their roots in. Another one over here. So I put 4 back in that little area there. I need to water them in well. Delphiniums like to have fairly consistent watering, but not, they don't want to stay damp, especially around the crown. They can suffer from crown rot. So it's best to actually do, if you have drip water, which I don't unfortunately back there, then it'd be better to run the drip instead of overhead watering, or at least make sure that they have enough circulation that the crowns can dry off. So we'll see how well it does. I'm thinking about putting, because these can handle some shade, they prefer that kind of more morning sun area. I'm gonna put these over in another area that I have that I'd like a little bit more height, and I think these would work well. So let's pop over there and do that. So this area here, I started this area probably 4 years ago now. It's coming along quite nicely, and it's almost completely shaded up now. It's close to noon, but it gets full morning sun. And plants have done quite well here, even some that say they prefer sun. So I would really like to get a little bit of height in kind of behind the ferns there. And I think I could pop a couple of delphinium in there, and we'll see how that works out. I think that would look really nice. The other option is to put them over, kind of disguise that plug there, put them in behind the Solomon's seal. That's a big kind of arching plant there. You know, I could do that. I could put one kind of behind the Solomon's seal and one kind of up in front. I have that bleeding heart there. The bleeding heart usually dies back about midsummer there. With the delphinium block. Decisions, hey? They're both spring bloomers. I think I'll stick with back by the fern. The ferns take a while to come out and get going. So I don't know how long, like I'm thinking because the delphiniums are spring bloomers, they probably come up pretty quickly in the spring. So I'd fill that space in for me. Yeah, that's where they're gonna go. They're gonna go by the fern there. So we'll put one back kind of over here, kind of where this stake is, and then we'll put one pretty much where I'm standing, and I think that'll spread them out nice. Get something growing in here early in spring. I actually planted a few Acidanthera in here. Again, they won't come back a year after year. They're just a bulb, kind of similar to a gladiolus, but they'll provide some height and color later in the year. So there's one. The ferns always make my nose itch, but I love the smell. Okay, so my delphiniums are all planted. Might not be the perfect ideal planting, but I think they'll still do well. The only issue I might have is that some of the plants that they were planted around are going to be casting a lot of shade on them for this first growing season because a lot of the plants are already established, but I think that'll work out all right. One thing to note with delphinium, if you're growing them, is they are poisonous. Every part of them is poisonous. So if you have someone like this in your yard, or maybe young kids or something that like to pick plants, touch plants, eat plants, then this might not be something that you want to be putting in your yard. I'm not really too worried about it. Usually, most animals won't eat very much. Once they've had a taste, they seem to just instinctually know if they've tried it, they won't eat it. A lot of them seem to know which plants not to eat. Yes, they do. Yes. And I've always just taught my kids when they were younger not to just go around just sampling anything in the yard and to ask first. and that's worked well for me. But if you are worried about poisonous plants in your yard, then Delphinium is one that you might want to just stay away from. So otherwise, they're a beautiful spring blooming plant that will bloom, into the summer a little bit for you off and on, and they make a great cut flower. Give you some nice height in the garden and some of those kind of blues, purples, and whites that can really cool down a hot garden space. So if you haven't tried Delphinium before, maybe it's time to try. They grew easily from seed for me, or you can find them in your garden centers as well. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Yeah. What do you think of the Delphiniums? What do you think? They're not for eating, are they? No. Oh, you're furry, furry, furry. Yes, you are. Furry, furry, furry. Yeah. Should we clean up our stuff? I know. Not your stuff, you see. You see, it's not your stuff. Yeah.